The Ministerial Code says when Parliament is in session, the most important announcements of government policy should be made in the first instance in Parliament. So why did you announce the NHS workforce plan, not in Parliament, but outside Parliament?
I've always tried to announce what I can in Parliament. I think my track record, and the Speaker's always said in the past that I particularly have done that. Where that's not possible, or the statement is made immediately thereafterwards, particularly in areas.
You announced it last Friday.
I think particularly where it's worth considering that this is not just the government's plan; it's also the NHS's plan.
You could have announced it in Parliament on Monday, couldn't you?
As I said, this involved not just the government; it involved also the NHS. Because it was the NHS's long-term workforce plan. The government was pleased to support it and proud to support it, and it's a plan that will do something special for the NHS in this 75th year.
The Speaker said yesterday the Prime Minister is a Member of Parliament. He is answerable to the Members of Parliament from all political parties. I have to say that his behaviour was not acceptable. He may be the Prime Minister, but the Members of Parliament should hear first. Have you apologised to the House yet?
As I said, I continue to be in Parliament to answer members' questions on a range of issues, making statements on a range of topics, and will continue to do so.
But you're not coming to Prime Minister's questions tomorrow, are you, or next week?
Yes, because I am attending the 75th anniversary celebration for the NHS.
And you decided when that should be, so you could have had it tomorrow evening or tomorrow morning?
No, again, that's not right. I did not decide when that was, and quite frankly, even if it was on a different day, also because His Majesty is in Scotland on Wednesday, it might have been reasonable for me to be there as well. And with regard to the week afterwards, I'm also at the NATO summit.
Remind us when a Prime Minister
I don't know whether is the Honourable Gentleman suggesting that I shouldn't attend the NATO summit on behalf of the United Kingdom, as previous Prime Ministers have done.
Remind us when a Prime Minister last missed two Prime Minister's questions in a row.
As I said, I don't know, but
yeah.
As I said, I think it's important. Is the Honourable Gentleman suggesting that I don't attend the NATO summit, which I'm not in control of the dates of?
No, I'm suggesting that you should be attending Prime Minister's questions and
not attending the NATO summit.
And you should have made the statement to the House of Commons, because your own ministerial code says that that's what you should do.
So your view is your view is that we should not be attending the NHS celebration or the King's coronation celebration in Scotland, or indeed the NATO summit. I mean, that's a perfectly reasonable point of view.
Let me ask you a different question.
Pointing out the Leader of the Opposition also will be speaking.
We're talking about your turning up in Parliament.
NHS.
We're talking about your respect for Parliament. You didn't turn up for the 𝗚𝗏 votes at all. That's right, isn't it?
I can't recall.
You didn't turn up for the Boris Johnson votes at all, did you?
No, I was at a charity dinner for Jewish care.
I think that's some cutting it fine, I would argue, since other members of Parliament who were at the same dinner with you and left after you did manage to get back for the vote.
I think, with greatest respect, I think their role and my role at the dinner probably slightly different.
You chose not to be there, didn't you? That's twice. On two rule-breaking moments, you chose not to be in Parliament. But yesterday you opined on the rules of cricket. Take us through that.
I chose to fulfil my obligation to an incredible charity for whom that is one of their significant fundraising moments of the year. My presence there was something that they had asked for, and actually me being there and being able to thank their volunteers and donors was something that they appreciated.
Others were there. Wes Streeting was there as well. He managed to get back.
Again, with the greatest respect, I think his role and my role at that dinner were probably slightly different, I'm very happy to talk about the rules of cricket as you mentioned.
Yeah, but not about rule breaking in Parliament.
No,
so that's my point.
I've also
I might
addressed
ask you
that
about the Privileges Committee then. So the Privileges Committee has accused 7 MPs of trying to undermine and impugn its work. The Leader of the House has condemned this. Do you think that they should apologise to the House?
I haven't actually gone through the report yet, so.
You haven't read the report?
No, I haven't been through the report yet in detail. I've seen it being reported, and I've been very clear in the past that...
But you asked 𝗏𝗏𝗼𝗏 to apologise?
Yes, because he's a minister.
So you have read it sufficiently to note that 𝗏𝗏𝗼𝗏 should apologise?
Yes, I've read the findings report. I haven't read the report from cover to cover, no. But
I have read the findings. It's about 3 pages long.
Right, but I've seen the findings.
You know that 𝗏𝗏𝗼𝗏 ought to apologise, but you haven't got an opinion about whether the other 7 should
because there's a
apologise.
difference between 𝗏𝗏𝗼𝗏's role as a minister, and I think that wasn't consistent with him being a minister, yes.
So you have read the report?
I have not read every page of the report.
Okay.
Sorry, which are you talking about? Which reports? Sorry. Anyway.
There are two reports. The report that we're considering next week, the one in which it says that the committee thinks that the 7 members of Parliament, all of your political party, were seeking to impugn and undermine the committee report. Let me ask you something else. You have to authorise all foreign travel by trade envoys and other parliamentarians and parliamentary private secretaries. In the last year, that's cost £264,192. Why won't you publish the details of who that's being spent on?
It's not something I'm familiar with the details of past practice on that, but I'll happily look into it.
Okay, different question. Do you think UK businesses should still be trading in Russia at all?
I think UK businesses should be following all the sanctions legislation that we've put in place.
Do you think they should be trading in Russia at all, a year after the second invasion?
There may be particular circumstances in which some businesses are in the process of either divesting or where it's considered that it would actually be detrimental to our interests or hand over assets very cheaply to the Russians. But as I said, the job of business is to comply with the laws that we set.
So Mantrack, which owns Unitrack FZE, sold new diggers to Russia in April of this year, and you took £5 million from its owner. Is that right?
I said
Last question.
I'm not familiar with the specific company.